Alright, Chapter 3.1 is a very quick but extremely important lesson on graphing solutions of inequalities. Just be sure to get the most out of it because the material from this lesson is going to follow into everything you work out for the chapter. An inequality is a symbol that represents a range of values compared to a number, whereas an equality means that something is equal to something else or has the same value as something else. An inequality means it could be a range of anywhere from 1 to a million, from -2 to -1,000,000. It could be anything like that. Symbols wise, make sure you add these to your notes. Less than is faced this way. The way I think about less than is that it looks like an L that has been bent, and that's how I remember less than. Greater than does not go, or because L does not go that way, I know it's not a L, so I would think greater than, but however you have to kind of memorize which one's which. Just make sure you learn how to read it. But again, for me, the L has been bent a little bit. It faces the same direction as an L. So that's less than, greater than. This bottom part here is kind of like half of an equal sign, so it's less than or equal to. And this is greater than or equal to. You are going to have to learn to determine the direction and type of graph. In order to do that, some studying is going to be necessary, so you need to make sure you are ready to go. If you've wondered why I've been so tough on you the first two chapters in terms of pushing people who haven't been really giving the effort necessary, it's because we are now in the part of the year where if you don't have the work ethic, you probably will not make it as well as you want to, because it is going to come down to whether or not you actually just try to learn the information. The essential question is, why is it important for the variable to be in front of the number? If the variable is on the left or in front of the number, which means that it'll be x is greater than 6 or x is less than 6 instead of 6 is less than x or 6 is greater than x. These are good. These you want to stay away from, and I'm always going to tell you that you want to put the variable in front, but it's important because the symbol in these two cases indicate the proper direction of the graph. If the variable is in front and you see this symbol, notice that it points to the right, which means it goes right. Notice how this looks just like that. So draw that arrow for yourself on your notes, or write this for yourself so you understand, because I think these two things need to be there. Anyway, this symbol points to the left, which means you'll go left. But again, notice the symbol has the same shape as the tip of the arrow that you're looking at. So that is your direction. So as long as you learn to read direction over these next few days or over the next couple of days, you'll be fine. There are also two types of circles that we're going to use. Again, make sure you fill in the information. An open circle is used if the value is not included. What I mean by that, and just write this and pay attention to what I'm saying here. If I tell you that x is greater than 6, 7 is greater than 6, that would be true. 8 is greater than 6, but 6 is not greater than 6 because those two things are equal. So this symbol here, just like 6 cannot be less than 6, this symbol here does not work with 6 because a number cannot be bigger than or less than itself, and so in this symbol the value is not included. But when you have 6 is less than or equal to 6, it's true because of that part right there, because 6 is equal to 6. 6 is greater than or equal to 6 is also true because of that line. So whenever you've got that equal sign, it means that 6 is included, and so that's where we'll use a closed circle. Again, you're going to get a lot more out of your practice than anything else, but you want to make sure your notes are around, and you want to make sure you're asking questions and seeking out the skill itself. Otherwise, it's going to be a very tough chapter. Outside of this, take your time, and things are going to get much easier with practice. Trust me, the more you practice this, which is why I'm trying to make sure you get time to practice this, but the more you practice this, the better you're going to be at it. And here's all you have to do for our inequalities here. If you're asked to graph x is less than -9, first off, you just need to make a cheap sketch of a number line. Now the computer won't be like this, but this is how we draw it on paper. -9 being my key number is what I'm going to label. The x is on the proper side. This is not including because it's not equal, so you would put an open circle on -9, which means -9 is not true because -9 is not smaller than 9. And then you will look and say this arrow points to the left, and so you will shade the left and put an arrow over there to mean it's everything over here. That is how you graph. Alright. Same thing here. T is greater than 4. We put our 4 down. Greater than means it's not including 4 because it doesn't say equal to, and again it's pointing to the right, and so you will shade to the right and put an arrow on it. These are the ones you have to look for or look out for, because 8 is greater than E is not good because the variable is not in front, so we must switch. everything around. So E comes over, 8 comes over. Notice the symbol is pointing at E, which means the symbol will flip also. And again, that's why you have to be careful. Again, 8 goes down, open circle, and it's pointing to the left, and so we will do that right there. Alright. Couple more real fast. U is less than or equal to 6. Again, 6 is my number. Notice it has the equal to part, which means my circle will be closed this time because 6 is actually included. Again, because 6 is equal to 6, which is the bottom portion, and it points to the left, which means that that will be the symbol that you choose. This one here is not set up. We must switch it around. M must come over, -3 must come over, and the symbol must flip. Then, after that, -3 is my number. The equal to portion means my circle is closed, and it goes to the right, and so I will shade to the right and draw my arrow. Again, you will not have to show this on your computer work, but you are going to have to do it on the quiz this week. You're also going to have to do it on the test next week, and so you need to make sure that you are practicing this, or at least knowing what's going on, because if you don't draw the sketch, then you're not going to get points for that question. So again, we'll work on that a little bit and make sure you kind of get that down, but just be ready for that. In terms of the final thought, you are going to be solving a lot of inequalities this chapter. I told you that solving was going to be important to you last chapter, especially in this one. But you're also going to have to graph your answers. So once you get down to the answer where it says x is less than 9, you're going to have to also graph it. Once you get down to t is greater than 4, you're going to have to graph it also. So be sure to ask about any misunderstandings you're having. If something doesn't make sense, make sure you take care of it, so we can get it under control, and you can have a successful chapter 3 in this quarter in a good way. Good luck.